planning revenge, aren't you?
After Emmett was shot, the trailer for episode 9 gives us a glimpse into the chaos that follows. We see Jada's devastated face, Darnell looking like he's about to fall apart, and Damien, broken by guilt, barely holding it together. But the scariest part, we don't see Emmett. That silence around his condition, it's intentional. They're keeping us in the dark, and that tells me it's serious. This isn't just another plot twist. This is life or death. And knowing how emotional this show can get, we might not be ready for what's coming next. Reggie, on the other hand, looks like he's spiraling. For weeks, we've seen him pushing the limits, gambling, lying, and dragging everyone down with him. But this? Shooting Emmett. That was the final straw. Even Vic, who's tried to play both sides, is done. The trailer shows Vic and Jake straight up confronting Reggie. No more loyalty. No more brotherhood. Jake's face says it all. His eyes are wide open now. He finally sees what kind of person Reggie is. And if Jake turns on Reggie, you know it's serious. Because for the longest time, Jake tried to believe there was some good left in his brother. But now, there's no coming back from this. Meanwhile, Nuck is still moving in the shadows. And I'm telling you, he's playing chess while Reggie's out here playing checkers. Canuck's deal with Detective Toussaint may have started as a quiet alliance. But now that Emmett's been shot, everything's speeding up. Nuck knows this is his chance to make a move. He doesn't care about Reggie's ego. He cares about protecting his son, his name, and maybe even Alicia. And with Reggie putting a bullet in Emmett, he just gave Nuck the perfect excuse to finally strike. In the trailer, we see Nuck getting physical with Jake, shoving him against the wall, saying everyone's coming for Reggie. That tells you Canuck's building an army and Reggie's about to get crushed. But the emotional core of all this chaos, Damien. Let's not forget he's the reason Emmett showed up in that alley in the first place. Damien was gambling with Reggie. Damien was the one who got beat up. And now, his actions might have cost Emmett his life. The synopsis says Damien makes a promise out of guilt. And that could go either way. Maybe he finally decides to clean up his life. Maybe he promises to take down Reggie. Or maybe, in a moment of weakness, he thinks revenge is the only way to make things right. Either way, his guilt is going to define what happens next. And it could destroy him. Damien's not a villain. He's broken. But broken people can still do dangerous things when they feel like they have nothing left to lose. And all this is happening while the family is falling apart. Jade is fighting cancer, and now her son might die. Darnell is watching the love of his life fade away while his boy bleeds out in a hospital bed. Keisha is juggling pregnancy, kids, and grief all at once. This isn't just about one shooting. It's about a family pushed to the edge. A family that's already suffered so much. And now, they might lose everything. Episode 9 isn't just a continuation of the story, it's a turning point. The kind that either breaks everyone, or brings them together in a way we've never seen before. Asterisk, the real question now is, can Reggie survive the fallout? Because this time, he didn't just mess with the wrong people. He hurt the one person the entire community actually cares about. Emmett isn't just another guy from the South Side. He's a father, a son, a husband, and a friend to almost everyone in the core circle. He's the one who tried to make peace, who tried to keep his hands clean while the streets kept pulling everyone into the fire. And now that he's the one bleeding, the response is different. It's emotional, it's personal. People aren't just mad, they're heartbroken. And that's a dangerous place for Reggie to be. Because when people have nothing left to lose, that's when they become the most dangerous. Look at Jada. She's been strong for so long, battling cancer, trying to keep the family steady, trying to believe things will get better. But now, her son's in critical condition, and all the strength in the world can't prepare her for that. In the trailer, her silence says more than any scream could. She looks like she's already bracing for the worst. Darnell, on the other hand, looks like he's ready to explode. We've seen him crack before, but never like this. The idea that Emmett might die is breaking him. And if Emmett doesn't make it, there's no telling what Darnell might do. This man has already lost control of so much in his life. Losing his son might just destroy him completely. And what about Keisha? Pregnant, exhausted, overwhelmed. Woman has carried so much already. She tried to move on from her trauma, to build something real with Emmett, to create a life that had hope. Now she's faced with the unthinkable, raising their family alone. You can see the panic in her eyes in the trailer. She's clinging to hope, but the fear is eating her alive. She's not just scared for Emmett. She's terrified for what comes next if he doesn't make it. Can she do it alone? Will she even want to? This storyline is setting us up for some of the most emotionally raw scenes we've ever seen on the Chi. And the craziest part, we still don't know Emmett's fate. Now let's circle back to Damien. Because guilt is powerful, and it's twisting everything inside him. He never meant for any of this to happen. He just wanted to escape, to gamble a little, to feel something other than fear or failure. But now his choices have cost him everything. His dignity, his peace, and maybe even Emmett. That promise he makes in episode 9. It better be something real, because if it's revenge, he's not ready. He's not a fighter. He's barely holding himself together. But if it's a vow to change, to finally step away from the chaos, to protect instead of destroy, then maybe there's still hope. For him, maybe he can be part of rebuilding what's left after the storm. And that storm is coming fast. Nuck is making moves behind the scenes, and he's not waiting around for anyone. He knows how dangerous Reggie is, but more importantly, he knows how weak he is now. Reggie's burned too many bridges, made too many enemies, and now even his own brother sees through the lies. Jake is done playing the little brother role. He's not scared anymore. The moment Reggie pulled that trigger, Jake's loyalty snapped. And Vic, he's angry, but it's a different kind of anger. It's cold, calculated. He's not yelling or making a scene, he's planning. And that makes him dangerous. Because he might not be the loudest, but he's definitely one of the smartest. What we're heading toward is a full-on collapse. The bonds that once held this group together are breaking apart, and there's no easy fix. Emmett's shooting was the spark, but the explosion, that's still coming. Nuck, Jake, Vic, they all have their reasons now. Reggie doesn't just have to watch his back, he has to watch everyone. And no one is going to warn him this time. Episode 9 is shaping up to be the reckoning. Whether Emmett lives or dies, things are never going back to the way they were. The streets of Chicago are changing, and blood has already been spilled. Now we need to talk about something that's been building all season, but finally feels like it's about to erupt: loyalty. Because the Chi has always been about community, about how the people in these streets lean on each other, protect each other, and sometimes even hurt each other in the name of love or survival. But in episode 9, that loyalty is cracking. We're seeing the real test of what people are willing to do when someone they care about is in danger. Reggie has been relying on fear to control the people around him. He thought intimidation and money would keep him safe. But he forgot one thing. When you touch the wrong person, the ones you've stepped on will rise up. And Emmett was that person. He was the line you don't cross. Jake, man, this kid has seen too much. Growing up under Reggie's wing, watching his brother's dark side up close, he's carried the weight of that relationship for years. But after this, it's different. Jake's not just disappointed in Reggie, he's disgusted. The way he confronted him in the trailer, you can feel the betrayal boiling in his voice. He's done being silent. And that moment where Nuck grabs Jake and warns him that the whole city's coming after Reggie. That wasn't a threat, it was a reality check. Jake has to choose, stay loyal to the brother who destroyed everything, or finally stand up and walk away. And that choice might define Jake's future. Will he become the man Reggie never could be? Will he get swallowed by the same darkness? Vic is in a similar position, but he's a whole different kind of dangerous. Now, all season long, we've seen Vic trying to keep the peace. He's been the calm one, the voice of reason, the guy who didn't want to choose sides. But Reggie just forced his hand. Vic's anger isn't loud, it's cold, sharp, and controlled. That's what makes it terrifying. He's the type who doesn't talk, he acts, and now that Emmett's been shot, Vic isn't going to let that slide. In fact, he might be the one pulling the strings behind the scenes, making sure Reggie gets what's coming without ever lifting a finger. This man has connections, he has respect, and he has a reason now. That's a deadly combination. Let's not forget Alicia either. She may not be front and center right now, but don't sleep on her. The synopsis said she visits Tiff in the hospital with an idea, and knowing Alicia, that idea is not just a friendly chat. She's a strategist, she plays the long game, and if she's stepping into this chaos now, it means she sees an opportunity. Maybe she wants to protect Nuke's name, maybe she wants to unite the right people to stand against Reggie, or maybe she has a score to settle of her own. Whatever it is, Alicia doesn't move unless she's sure it's worth the risk. And her showing up in this moment says the game board is shifting again. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, time is ticking. Emmett's fate remains a mystery, and the longer the show keeps us waiting, the more intense this storyline becomes. That's how the Chi works. It pulls you in, makes you feel like part of the family, then hits you where it hurts most. And right now, it hurts. Seeing Jada holding back tears, Darnell pacing the hallway, Damien silently falling apart, it's good trenching. The weight of what's happened is crushing everyone. You start to realize this isn't just a show about the streets. It's a show about what happens to hearts when they're pushed too far. And every single character is standing on the edge right now. The scary thing is, Reggie doesn't even seem to realize how deep the hole he's in really is. He's still walking around like he has control, still talking like people should fear him. But fear only lasts so long when pain takes over. And Emmett's shooting caused pain like nothing else this season. You can feel it in every word, every stare, every silence. If Reggie thinks he can talk or fight his way out of this, he's dead wrong. The people he hurt aren't going to play his game anymore. They're going to write their own rules. And those rules, they don't have room for mercy. This is where the tension becomes unbearable because no one knows who will make the first real move. Will it be Nuck with his quiet plan? Vic with his silent vengeance? Jake breaking away and exposing his brother's secrets? Or Damien, drowning in guilt, doing something reckless to try and fix what can't be undone? Everyone has a motive now. Everyone has a reason to act. And Emmett's life, whether he lives or dies, will decide how far each of them is willing to go. That's what makes episode 9 so terrifying. Because whatever happens next, there's no going back. The streets of Chicago are about to be forever changed. Asterisk as the dust settles and the shock of the shooting starts to fade. The real impact begins to spread in. It hits the family hardest. The Chi has always been about more than just survival. It's about connection, healing, and the messy way love tries to hold everything together when the world falls apart. And right now, that love is being tested like never before. Jada is clinging to hope, but her body is already battling cancer. And now her heart is breaking too. Her son, the one who tried to stay away from the violence, is now its latest victim. You can almost feel her asking herself, what was it all for? The strength, the sacrifice, the treatments. If she loses Emmett now, what's left? Her grief is silent but heavy. It doesn't need words. It bleeds through every look, every breath, every second she spends sitting in that hospital room waiting for a miracle that may not come. Darnell, though, is cracking. This man has made his share of mistakes, but one thing has always been clear: he loves his son. And when a father watches his child suffer, especially after years of trying to repair that bond, something inside him breaks. He's not just scared, he's angry. Angry at Reggie. Angry at Damien. Angry at himself for not being able to stop it. And when that anger has nowhere to go, it festers. Darnell might not be a street guy anymore, but pain like this doesn't care about who you used to be. It brings out parts of you that you thought were long gone. That stare we saw in the trailer, that wasn't just sadness. That was the look of a man who's ready to take matters into his own hands. And then there's Keisha. She's caught between the fear of losing Emmett and the pressure of holding everything together. She's carrying his child, caring for their kids, and trying not to fall apart. But there's only so much weight a person can carry before they collapse. She trusted Emmett. She forgave him. She chose him again. And now she's being forced to imagine a life without him. That kind of fear, it's paralyzing. And it's the kind of fear that doesn't go away, even if he pulls through. This trauma won't vanish. It's going to live in her bones. In every step she takes, every time she looks at their kids, every sleepless night. If Emmett lives, he's coming back to a world that's been shattered. If he doesn't, Keisha will be walking through the rest of her life carrying a pain that no one else will truly understand. And while this family crumbles under the weight of tragedy, the rest of the community is watching. This isn't just a personal story, it's a neighborhood reckoning. People have seen too much. They've buried too many sons, too many friends. And now, someone who tried to rise above it all has been gunned down. It sends a message, whether Reggie meant it or not. It tells every kid on the block that no one is safe, that even the ones who walk straight can still fall victim to someone else's mess. And that kind of message, it poisons everything. It plants fear in the hearts of those still trying to believe that peace is possible. But out of that fear comes fury. The community might be broken, but it's not blind. They know who pulled the trigger. They know who brought this pain to their door. And now the whispers are turning into shouts. People who never spoke up before are ready to say Reggie's name out loud. They're done protecting him. Because when you hurt Emmett, you hurt everyone. You crossed a line that even the streets can't ignore. Nuck knows it, Vic knows it, Jake knows it. Even Damien, through all his guilt and grief, knows it. That's why this isn't just a revenge story. This is justice. This is about sending a message back that some actions still have consequences. And what makes this all even more intense is the silence from Reggie. He's gone quiet, And that's dangerous. It means he's thinking. It means he's hiding. Or worse, it means he's planning something else. Reggie doesn't go down easy. He might be arrogant, reckless, and spiraling, but he's not stupid. If he feels cornered, he's going to lash out. Maybe not at Emmett's people. Maybe not even at Jake or Nuck, but someone's going to pay, and if the people closest to him aren't careful, they might be next. Because a man like Reggie doesn't believe in forgiveness. He believes in control. And when he loses that control, he becomes the most dangerous version of himself. So now we're left holding our breath, waiting, watching, wondering if Emmett will open his eyes, or if this season just gave us its most devastating twist yet. Either way, there's no turning back now. The Chi will never be the same. Everything now hangs in the balance: Emmett's life, Reggie's downfall, and the fragile thread that's barely holding this community together. Episode 9 isn't just another hour of television. It's a tipping point. This is the episode where choices become consequences, where silence becomes betrayal, and where pain finally turns into action. The Chi has always walked the line between heart and havoc, but now those two are colliding. If Emmett dies, the emotional shockwave will break every relationship we thought was strong. But if he survives, he might not be the same man. Trauma like this doesn't heal easily. And the people around him, especially Jada, Keisha, and Darnell, won't just sit back and pretend nothing happened. Reggie didn't just shoot a man, he shattered a future. He took something that can't be given back. And the people who love Emmett will never forgive him for that. Reggie's future is already collapsing. And he doesn't even realize how many people are ready to bury him figuratively or otherwise. Nuck is circling, and with the quiet alliance he's built with Detective Tucson, Reggie may finally be outnumbered in ways that matter. Jake, once blinded by brotherly love, is starting to wake up to the truth. Blood doesn't mean loyalty, and love doesn't mean obedience. The moment Jake finally decides to speak out or take a stand, Reggie's power drops to zero. And Vic, who always played it safe, is no longer standing on the sidelines. The moment Emmett was shot, Vic stopped being neutral. You can see it in his eyes. He's not warning Reggie anymore. He's watching and waiting, ready to make a move that finishes what the rest of the city started. The walls are closing in, slowly, quietly, but they're closing. And then there's Damien. His role in this whole nightmare is the most tragic, because deep down, he never meant to hurt anyone. He just wanted to feel okay for a few hours, to forget the weight of the world pressing down on him. But now, Emmett might die because of him. That kind of guilt, it rewires a person. It changes how you see yourself. Damien's promise, as vague as it is, could mean anything. Maybe he promises to never gamble again. Maybe he promises to take revenge. Or maybe he promises to leave, to disappear and carry that guilt somewhere no one else can see it. Because sometimes the worst punishment isn't prison, it's living with yourself. And Damien might be about to find that out the hard way. But let's not forget the bigger picture. The Chi has always been a reflection of real life, of how violence creates ripples, how one moment, one bullet, can turn laughter into silence and hope into rage. This isn't just a storyline, it's a mirror. And in episode 9, that mirror is cracked wide open. Everyone is forced to confront who they really are. Will Nuck protect or destroy? Will Jake finally grow up? Will Vic go too far? Will Alicia take advantage of the chaos? And most importantly, will Emmett get another chance? Because if he wakes up, he might change everything. He might be the one who pulls people back from the edge. But if he doesn't, Reggie's days are numbered. Someone, somewhere, will make sure of that. What we're walking into now isn't just the aftermath of a shooting, it's the beginning of a war. Not a war with guns and fists, but with choices and silence and pain. Everyone will have to decide who they are and what they stand for. Episode 9 will expose them all. And no matter what happens next, the Chi will never look the same again. Whether Emmett lives or dies, this is the episode that changes the game forever.